CTHULHU Jack.
Movies have a funny meaning in everyone's lives. By some strange cosmic force, they land and we are all witness to it, soaking it in, relishing in its presence and how much it may weigh on you as a viewer as you walk out of that darkened theater. Add to that emotional headspin as you've witnessed one of the greatest comic book film adaptations ever created. Next to Superman 1979, of course. 1994's The Crow, starring the late Brandon Lee.
Victims, aren't we all? And like that, he's gone.
No sequels or prequels anymore that bear his name. Others fill those Doc Martens now, but I think Brandon states his case the best here.
It's called The Crow. I get to play a rock and roll musician, quote Edgar Allan Poe, and I get to return from the dead.
He himself leaves behind the longest shadow of all for anyone trying to produce a follow-up to this beloved gothic punk rock movie that is a monument to not only his legacy.
Is that gasoline I smell?
No, man. No!
But director Alex Proyas, who delivers a visceral and poetic tone to this day, gives me the chills. Just look at that steam rising off Brandon in this scene with Tintin. To the fleet of character actors who, up until this point in the 1990s, were all the best villains movies could cast. Michael Wincott.
I want all of you boys to be able to look me straight in the eye one more time and say, "Are we having fun or what?"
David Patrick Kelly.
I know you. I know you. I knew you. I knew you.
And Tony Todd.
Bye-bye, Bertie.
Deliver grounded and nasty performances where you can smell their cigar and whiskey-soaked breath, along with cheap cologne and B.O. I'm looking at you, Skank.
What up, Skank? That's Skank right there. Skank's dead.
That's right.
To the whole crew who created an ambiance where each frame feels to have been dipped in evil, slathered in a combination of liquid tar and ash as the celluloid bounces around the grinding sprockets that teleports us deep within author James O'Bare's mind. To finally the screenwriters David Chow, who has a brief cameo as one of Top Dollar's baddies, and John Shirley, who molded a wonderfully dark and emotionally charged script that comes across as a loving adaptation to creator James O'Bare's original comic series. Based upon the 1989 limited comic series, Eric Draven, a rocker, and his fiancée Shelley are murdered on Devil's Night. Eric is reanimated a year later by a crow who visits his grave. Eric's reincarnation as his former self with now enlightened abilities builds a body count of the men that wronged him as he takes on Top Dollar, who is played with perfect sadistic honor by Michael Wincott.
Every man's got a devil, and you can't rest till you find him.
Also along the way, Eric befriends Officer Albrecht, played lovingly by Ernie Hudson. And I mean that. I worked with him years later, and he is just a pro. Officer Albright is the gateway to what Shelley suffered under the hands of the, quote, Jolly Pirate Gang, led by the always fun-to-watch David Patrick Kelly as T-Bird, who should have zigged instead of zagged. I could go on, but I'll leave with little Sarah, a young lady who had befriended Eric and Shelley during life, is saved by Eric upon his return in a brief and poignant scene that carries the tenderness in an otherwise grim world.
Can't rain all the time.
Eric?
I sat in a sold-out midnight show of The Crow, opening night 1994 at the Grauman's Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard, to watch Brendan's last performance. Not a word or a whisper could be heard, just faint sniffles and wiping of tears. Brandon Lee's The Crow has touched a lot of people since that night. I see the love for that movie all over. All I know is, Brandon's shadow is long and still encompasses all attempts in creating that lightning in a bottle once again. I think Brandon would be proud how long his shadow extends. It's a solid show of his talents into the genre that he loved. Very much worth a look. Happy birthday, mate. Thank you for leaving us your gothic masterpiece. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening and stopping by. If you would like to support us, we have a Lovecraft PI Kickstarter campaign launching this summer. Lovecraft is caught within the Dreamlands while trying to handle Big C himself. So click links below to be notified and to check out our campaign. Many thanks for your support, and Hail Cthulhu!